how integrity plays a crucial role in fitness and mining. Getfit Mining stands as a testament to this, driven by core values that celebrate genuine effort and data integrity. Our platform is more than just proof of physical activity mining. It's a community, a collective that thrives on real human potential and achievement. We've made it seamless to integrate with Google Fit and Apple Health to sync your physical activity in real time. Getfit Mining isn't just about recording physical data to the blockchain, it's about recording what's truly achieved. We're all about authenticity, with measures in place to ensure just that. Any physical activity that seems statistically improbable doesn't just raise eyebrows, it raises red flags. So, trust the process. Let your fitness apps do their job. Stay true to your fitness journey, uphold the integrity of our community, celebrate what's truly achieved. We have measures in place to ensure this. What happens when the physical activity submitted is improbable? We value authenticity and integrity. Submitting improbable data like an impossible number of steps, minimal calories burned with an unrealistic sleep duration, disrupts the balance of our ecosystem. Our system is designed to flag such outliers. Wallets that submit improbable data face a 60-day restriction from mining, followed by 120 days of review. A stern measure but essential for maintaining the integrity of our platform. Don't game the system, trust the process. Let your fitness apps work without manual interference. Preserve your fitness journey's authenticity, but also respect the integrity of the token rewards. At Getfit Mining, we hold ourselves to the highest of standards, solid, reliable, and fair. Every step you take, every move you make, counts. Your journey towards fitness is as important as the rewards you earn. You're part of a community that values integrity and progress, the Getfit Mining community. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Visit us at getfitmining.com today and continue your journey with us.
Welcome to another episode on my YouTube channel, my first YouTube interview, and we'll do it in English, of course. And today I have the woman behind Getfit Mining. Welcome, Lynette.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Who are you, and what is Getfit Mining?
Getfit Mining is a move to earn application that uses all of your physical activity, 24 hours a day. All of your activity is important to your health. So you have your other move to earn apps that focus on vigorous workouts inside a gym or, having to step outside and walk, distance. But, already in the industry of fitness, we already know, like with gym memberships, while the gyms, it's $1 billion industry, the majority of people don't use their gym memberships. They buy them with the hopes to use them, but actually stepping outside your normal activity zone, most people end up not using those gym memberships. So we wanted to also get across that your physical activity that you do every day, it is exercise. It's just about increasing that physical activity. It doesn't matter if you're mowing your yard, or if you're walking through the grocery store, or you're at the mall, it's the pace you go. And not only that, but the calories you burn are important. The sleep for recovery is important. And so what we wanted to do was motivate people to move more. The sedentary lifestyle has become, a problem across the globe, and really in the United States as well. And it affects several aspects of life economically. I mean, one, your health with chronic illness and disease, underinsured, not insured, that has an impact on economics, and it's just a trickle effect all the way. So with the motivation and the incentivization of the move to earn app, Getfit Mining, we also wanted to do it the right way, truly decentralized, the way the Bitcoin vision was, so that it was a self-funding ecosystem and everybody would have a chance to work within a project that really should never fail.
So you have a long-term vision about this project?
We do. I guess when it really starts, if you look at the big picture, the one thing that is unique to Getfit Mining, one of the things is our airdrop. In the crypto space, peer-to-peer is what crypto is about. It's the community that engages with that project. If there's a need for that project, those tokens, the utility behind it. But, when you're looking at the crypto space, while it's got that $1 trillion market cap, you're still competing for that 5% of the population across the globe that's actually using crypto. And so one thing I think that projects fail to grasp is that you have to have mutual collaboration. One, it's kind of a checks and balance. If you've got projects that are collaborating with each other, you're keeping them in check. You're going to, see a lot of these scam projects fall by the wayside. The ones that are scams are not going to collaborate with other projects to make sure that they're operating the way they should. With our airdrop, it allows other projects to, airdrop their tokens to our user base who are actively mining. And so it gives them an engaged audience. And so I think long-term vision with that project collaboration is, take us 3-4 years more down the road. Let's say we have 2, 3, 4 million users. When a project comes to us and wants to airdrop their tokens, if we vet them and they are, they've got a solid development team, they've got a solid roadmap, they're actually solving a problem, they're legitimately building, a project. We will have, they airdrop their tokens to our user base and we can take them to the top. But if you're not legitimate, we would never activate you in our airdrop, and you're not going to get the benefit of our engaged users, the audience that we're providing to them for their tokens and for their projects. So that, I think, was the very first thing that, I wanted designed into this was that project collaboration, and allowing people to learn about solid projects that actually have a future.
Yeah, that's very interesting. How did the idea started? When? 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
It was about 3 years ago that I started putting the pen to paper, mapping out this project. I did not know there was a move to earn space at this point. And some people may believe me, they may not, but I really didn't. I was really paying attention to the NFT space, and that has always kind of left me wondering, like, what in the heck are people seeing in these NFT images, that they're spending millions and millions of dollars on, when there's actually technology behind the NFTs. And so what I wanted to do was build that technology around the NFTs. And, physical activity, when you're creating a project, you've got to solve a problem in the crypto space. You don't just throw up a project, for the heck of it. There'll be no purpose. And so I am 56 years old now, and so my health really matters to me at this point as I get older and start going down the hill. You know what I mean? And so I had already been studying like health foods, microgreens, things of that nature, and really started paying attention to my physical activity. So when I did go to the internet and I noticed, I found that there were like 8 or 9 move to earns. I'm like, okay. So I really started researching them. And of course, I found flaws in every single one of them. And while they may attract a lot of users, the only thing that shows me is that there is a need for this in the market space. It's just that it hasn't been done right yet by any of the projects. And I know some people may say that's an arrogant statement to make, but when you're in the crypto space, if you don't build it properly, decentralized with the proper ecosystem around it, it's not good enough.
Can you explain more about what is the decentralized community and why is Getfit Mining decentralized? In what way?
Decentralized, well, we are decentralized in many ways. One, it's anonymous, right? We only go by wallets. We don't, you are in control of all of your money. You're in control of your wallets. You are in control of your assets. We don't control it. We're not a centralized system where somebody else is holding the keys to your kingdom. You put your money in the bank, you're trusting, a centralized entity to manage your funds. We already know how banks are, bailouts and misuse of funds and, all their crazy fees and stuff like that. So we're not the custodian of anybody's money at all. There's no human managing this project. There's humans that are building this project, but the management comes from the smart contracts. You're not waiting for somebody to push a button so that you can submit your physical activity or claim your rewards or your mined tokens. We don't manage your your NFT assets. Everything is managed by the individual themselves and through the smart contracts. But even more importantly, with the decentralization is our self-funding ecosystem. And, you've been in crypto before, and in projects, they always have the pre-sales for funding, and that's one, regulatory wise, it's not a good place to be in, because when you sell those tokens at a lower rate than what the market value would be, you're doing that with the understanding, or the person is buying those with the understanding there's going to be a profit on those tokens. And that's where, your governments have an issue, because then you're not registered as a security. So we avoided the private sales altogether. And with the self-funding ecosystem, projects are always asking, they do the pre-sale first, and then the next thing that comes up is you provide the liquidity. You go get the 2 pairs that are necessary, you provide the liquidity, and you're going to get, return on the transaction fees based on what people are buying and selling from that pool. And so, that is a very unstable way to build a project. One, you're always asking the community to inject money. Buy all of our pre-sale tokens. Trust us that, there's going to be, a market for them. And then secondly, you supply all of the liquidity as well. Where with Getfit Mining, we've got the mining. Well, we got the minting, we've got the evolution, then we have the mining, we've got the staking. We've got all these different pieces in the ecosystem, the challenges, the events, the marketplace, the leasing, and all of those activities. If you're building that community, the community is using what you're providing within that ecosystem. And there's little fees that are incorporated into all of this. For example, when you submit your proof of physical activity, that's recorded to the blockchain. And you're generating these hashes through that physical activity. When you submit it, it creates a hash, records that activity to the blockchain. Everybody can see it. There's a 10-cent fee per miner when you submit that activity. All of these little fees, they are what's creating that liquidity for that token. That's what's driving the market value of that token. So we don't go to the people and ask them to provide that liquidity. If somebody went today and added $100,000 to the liquidity pool, tomorrow they can go and remove it. There's no promise there that it's going to be stable. So when you have a community of people who are submitting that activity, claiming that activity, they're creating challenges, they're joining challenges, they're leasing their miners, all of these activities that can be done within the app, that is going towards the liquidity. Our evolution is the biggest piece for liquidity, because what you do is you mint those miners so that you can mine, and that's the low powered miner. Then you can upgrade to the highest powered miners, and 100% of that stays with the community. And so 10% goes to the staking. The other 90% is for liquidity. And so that liquidity is basically owned by the community. The project doesn't remove it. It's a smart contract that, injects that liquidity. So the market value of the token, the stability of the liquidity pool, it's all based on that peer-to-peer community who sees value in this project. And the more that it's being used and utilized, the more market value there is on that token, the more liquidity there is. So we don't ask the community to provide that liquidity. What we do is we build the community, we show them the value in the project, and, our retention rate is high. Obviously we have a small community because we just are going into that pre-launch, but we've got people just through our beta testing lost 100 pounds, 75 pounds, 60 pounds. And so we're proving that our concept is working, and the market value of the token, it will increase on the community that's actually using it. It's not an inflated value. If there's a lot of use, there's a large community, of course, the market value is higher on the token. The liquidity pool is more, there's more in the liquidity pool. The less people using it, we didn't prove our system, right? So the market value would be low and the liquidity would be low.
So when you submit or evolve these NFTs and on the blockchain, that amount will go to buy up the token on the open market. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the evolution contract, it has to have, it has to have the native token to pair it to USDT to inject it. So it will buy the token. However, there's other areas in the app where, for example, the mining dock. So there's multiple slots that you can mine with based on the size of the community. So when we open up the 7th slot, that will be all Gfam, that token. So to open up that 7th slot, you'll use Gfam. Well, that Gfam, it goes in pairs to that USDT to inject that liquidity. So in that respect, it will have the Gfam, so it doesn't have to drive the market value up. There's conditions that the evolution contract uses. So it's not going to drive up the market in a selling, during a selling market. But if it's holding that GFAM that it compared to the USDT, it will inject liquidity to stabilize that market value while people are selling. So it's not predictable because it's got an algorithm that it has to pay attention to. Now, if it is a stable market, it's not a heavy sell off, then the evolution contract would most likely be out of GFAM. It would have to go buy the GFAM to pair it to the USDT that it holds. And then it is driving up the market value and it is injecting the liquidity to stabilize that price. And in a selling market, it would take the GFAM that it holds, pair it to USDT, and then inject that to stabilize that market value so it doesn't continue to drop.
So can you explain more about the utility for the token and also about a little bit about the staking part with USDT? It's also very interesting for my part.
Yep. So our staking is different than most projects or staking platforms. So when you stake the native token, we do not base the rewards on the number of tokens that you've staked. What we do is we base it on the market value of the tokens. It's also based on the mining power that you're using. If you are not mining within our ecosystem, then you cannot stake GFAM to earn rewards in our staking platform because you haven't, contributed to the ecosystem. And so you're not eligible to receive rewards for staking those GFAM. If you're mining, for example, let's say with we'll start with just say one primary miner that's got 100% mining power. And so your rewards on your staking would be 1.39%. And this is all based on the community use of the tokens, what we have involved inside the app and the ecosystem, the minting, the mining, the evolution, the mining dock, challenges, all of the features within the ecosystem. And so 10% of all the in-app transactions goes to the staking. If you're mining with 6 omegas, those are 300% mining power per omega. So now you've got 1800% mining power. That means you've contributed to the ecosystem in a much larger way than what a primary person using one miner has. That's why they would be eligible for 1.39%. And somebody who's, mining with 6 omegas would be earning 25% on whatever they stake. We also don't reward you in the native token. You're rewarded in the stable token, the USDT. If you're rewarded with the native token, the only thing you're doing is diluting the market. And so you're just giving them more tokens. Well, if you're staking, you're going to go to the market, you're going to sell those tokens. And so you're just driving the market value down on your own tokens. So we give the USDT in the staking rewards. And that way, when you do cash out, you're cashing out a stable token that doesn't have an impact on the GFAM value. And, if you're going to stake more GFAM, chances are you're going to use the USDT to go to the pool and buy more GFAM, which just drives the market value up. So by staking on our platform, it doesn't have a negative effect on the market value of the token.
I want the listeners to understand this. Like usually in a project, you get the same token. If you stake like Ethereum, you get Ethereum. If you stake T-Fuel, you get T-Fuel. If you stake GFAM in this case, you will get a portion in USDT or only USDT if you stake it.
All USDT.
Yeah,
it's all USDT.
For me that's a very, very green flag because then you get direct value in the GFAM token because USDT, for those who doesn't understand, USDT is crypto dollar to keep it simple. and you can spend it to buy whatever you want, or you can buy more Gfam to get more USDT. And that, I think, is maybe the key, probably, because when I heard that, I thought this can be very, very, very big, and maybe it would take some time to make people understand how important just this area is, because if you can earn USDT and spend those USDT right away, people will want to have more Gfam.
Yep. And we don't hold your staking. So an example for that would be, whenever you stake on another platform, you're going to be locked for 90 days or 120 days, 6 months, however long, some are even a year. We don't have a lock that is for a set determined amount of time. When you stake the GFAM, it is, obviously it's in a smart contract and you're going to earn these rewards. But you can claim the rewards as you're earning them. So let's say, for example, your rewards was $25 and the platform is busy. People are coming, in every day. And let's say you earned that $25 today. That staking contract releases your GFAM as soon as those rewards have been earned. Now, if it's slow and let's say it takes time to get that reward, on the 90th day, it unlocks regardless of whether you've earned all of the rewards or not. And so then you have the option, if you want to restake, you can. And if you don't have to. And so that's the only thing that we do with Getfit on our staking platform. As soon as those rewards are earned, it unlocks. But if it goes to 90 days, it unlocks automatically so that we're not holding people's GFAM for any length of time. But, of course, our goal is that you're going to earn them more rapidly. And then when you do stake again, and this is to, obviously you have to have a mechanism that rewards or incentivizes people to hold their tokens until the market value or the liquidity is there to support whatever you want to sell. And so by giving you the opportunity to stake at the market value, let's say you staked and it was at a penny, but once you've earned those rewards, now let's say it's worth 5 cents. Now your GFAM has more value, so the amount of rewards that you're receiving every time you stake, it increases. This way you can earn on that GFAM while you're holding it versus selling it to make money, but losing your assets, right? When you sell it, you no longer hold that GFAM. And if the price continues to go up, then you're never going to have the amount of GFAM that you may have right now. So by allowing people to stake it at the market value of the GFAM, it's always increasing the amount of the rewards that you can receive, which is, beneficial.
She always, if it goes down less and up, you get more.
Correct.
She always exposure to the market value. And do you get this USDT every day or once a month or every 90th day? Or I didn't understand that part.
The USDT rewards one time per day. Yep.
That's also very, very good. I was like,
Yep.
Yeah, every day it's fantastic. And the goal for 2024 and your vision in 5 years for this project, how many users do you see, or your goal to have within this year?
Our goal by the end of the year is to have 100,000 users. We understand, we're not a simple platform. There's things you have to do to set up properly because we are 100% decentralized, because we have a full self-funding ecosystem. There are things that a person has to do, and the fun, I guess what I find very interesting and exciting at the same time, majority of our users have never used crypto before. So we are opening the door to a lot of people that have no experience in crypto whatsoever. So there's a lot of training that goes on in our platform. So we're actually going to be offering a full academy here that will teach people what they need to know, about crypto. I'm excited about that too. But once you get set up, you're good. It's kind of a set it and then submit every day. Just submit. But a lot of people find it somewhat difficult. So I think because there is a learning curve that, if we reach 100,000 users by the end of the year, that's a good goal. Our goal by, 3 to 5 years would be to have 1 million plus users. which I think we'll be able to reach. I mean, the bottom line is this: we were just having a conversation with a few people, that are building the community, and the one thing they said was, in comparison to the other projects, where do you see Getfit? And basically I just said still standing in 5 years. And I don't know that the other ones will be able to say the same thing because, they are building the same way all projects do. Look at it like this. If you're doing pre-sales, which they all did, if you are requiring the community to provide the liquidity, if you do not have an ecosystem that's building in the stability of that project, your project's going to fail just like all of them do because it's going to run dry. At some point, the community cannot continue to provide the liquidity to stabilize a market that project should be stabilizing. These projects are bringing in millions upon millions and millions, some of them hundreds of millions of dollars. They should be able to stabilize that project based on what that community has provided. That money actually belongs with the community. If people build crypto projects the way they should, peer-to-peer communities, just from the functions and the actions that the community is taking within that project should stabilize that project, the market value, and that liquidity. It shouldn't be a further ask for the community to do even more. They're already doing it if they're using your app. It's just that the creators of these projects aren't giving up that money. And that's the bottom line. Money that doesn't really belong to them. It belongs to the community.
Is the project relying on new users coming in every day or every week?
It doesn't. So here's the thing. Obviously, we're at our new stage, right? So we are depending on building that community, to drive that market value and to have more mass adoption. But it doesn't have an effect on the market value of the token. What has an effect on the market value of the token or the stability of that liquidity pool is the use of the system. If people are submitting, people are claiming their tokens, if they're creating challenges, they're joining challenges, that's what's providing that liquidity. The new users coming in isn't providing the liquidity. That has nothing to do with the stabilization of this project. So let's say we have 50,000 people using the application, and never, ever again does a person come into this project. The market value still increases on the token, and the liquidity still begins to increase because people are still using the ecosystem that surrounds this project. They're still interacting with the project. And so when that interaction is taking place, it's providing that liquidity. So no, the project doesn't rely on new people coming in. Obviously, we're a new project, so we're building, that peer-to-peer community, but it doesn't rely on that for market value. A little community, it's going to have a little market value. It's going to have a little pool, right? The larger the community, the larger, the higher the market value, and the larger the liquidity pool. So at this point in the game, yes, we are building that community, but that's not what is important for the market value or the stability of the project.
And you will have many different type of mining rigs, equipment, like not just one different, or you have 5, 6 different, or how many different mining rigs do you have, or will have?
So right now we have 5 miners. We have our primary miner, which mines at 100% mining power. We have the Ultra, it's 125% mining power. We have the Alpha, 175% mining power. And then we have the Omega, which is 300% mining power. Today we're introducing Bob, the miner. He's new. He mines at 20% mining power. We have a lot of, currently we're 24 countries that we are, people are mining from. And so there are different, walks of life that can't afford all of the miners, to use them at full. And so we wanted to create one that had no cost, that anybody could use, and it operates within the free dock slot. So with our mining dock that holds multiple miners, the first slot never has a fee. It's always free. So we do open up the market for people to use Bob the miner, which is 20% mining power. And they still contribute to the ecosystem because they're still submitting, they're still claiming, they'll still join challenges, And so even by having a free miner, it still is building the market value. It's still providing stabilization to the project, but it also leaves no barrier to entry. That's what we didn't want to have. We want everybody to be able to participate, even if it's at a small level.
That's good. And the marketplace, but you can buy a mining and then rent it out, lease it out. Will that be an option in the future?
Yep. So we're hoping that we'll be able to make that live by the beginning of July. So May, we'll be introducing the challenges. We hope to have that. We're still testing it, but we're hoping it'll be ready by May 4th, maybe May 15th, but beginning to mid-May. And then the leasing will be next. And what the leasing is it allows the person who has more than, because right now you can mine with 6. Here soon you'll be able to open up that 7th slot. But if you have more than 7 miners, what you'll be able to do is stake them. And a person who doesn't have miners, they will be able to connect their wallet to that miner, and their physical activity is how they are leasing that miner. So one person is providing the miner, the other person is providing the physical activity. The person who provides the physical activity submits it. The smart contract then sends the tokens to the person who owns the miner, the person who leased the miner, and then they each claim their own token. So again, that's all managed by the smart contract. But that allows anybody now to be able to mine basically so they provide the physical activity for the miner, and now 2 people are earning tokens from that.
What's the percentage? Do you split 50-50 or you can choose, or how does it work?
Well, again, it's the person who owns that miner that makes that decision. And so it'll become very competitive. So again, we don't manage that. It's their asset. It's their digital real estate. They make that decision. So if somebody wants to say, okay, you provide the physical activity and I'll give you 10% of the tokens, but then somebody else says, you provide the physical activity, I'll give you 90% of the tokens. People are going to shop for the best deal. If I use this miner, I get 90%, but if I use this one, I get 30%, or I get 20%. So it's going to keep it competitive, but it's also going to keep a balance in check. Because if a person is only willing to give up 10 or 20% of those tokens, probably nobody's going to lease it if they can go get 70 or 80% of the tokens from somebody else. And so, it'll keep it competitive, which, again, that's business and it's their real estate. So they determine what it is they want to share.
Or he needs to run himself otherwise if he wants to be greedy.
Right. Exactly.
You have some promotion now. What's the prices compared to now compared to maybe in 2 months?
So right now, because we are, building the project out, the community wise, now that we're done with beta and we're introducing it to the public, so to have 6 omegas through the evolution process, but from the time you're done minting and evolving to the omega would cost $3,600. Or you could just outright mint the omega for $900. So you're looking at about $5,400 for 6 omegas. So we kind of got to prove the concept too. You know what I mean? There's been so many scams out there, so many people burnt. Everybody's hesitant, like, okay, how do we really know this is the real deal? So we wanted to, decrease that risk that people worry about in their minds, justifiably so, based on what has currently been on the market. So what we did was we are stair-stepping it. Tier 1, it was $200 for 6 of the omegas, which is a major savings. That's like 90% discount. I think it was 95%. Then the next tier was $300. The next tier is $400. Then we'll go up to $500, $600, $800, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000. Then it goes into full swing, the $3,600, and that will be June 9th. So right now we're actually at the $400 tier. The $200, $300 is passed, and every Sunday it'll increase. So it's a 1 week, promotion. And then of course people who can't afford the tiers can mine with Bob.
Yeah.
And that's still a good deal. At this point with their current mining difficulty, they'll mine about 300 Gfam a month. While that may not seem like a lot of value today, as the market value increases on those Gfam tokens, it can still be pretty valuable to a person.
No, it's a great time to jump on with this promo and just take your time to understand. Do you have any white paper you can read about in your own pace?
Yep, the light paper is on the website at getfitmining.com. You just click on the light paper. We're going to be updating it here in the next week or so. I'm almost done with all the updates. It's a pretty intense light paper. Probably should be a white paper at this point, but
Mm.
so hopefully I'll have the updated version there.
Yeah, white paper for people who doesn't understand. It's the details about the Gfam token and everything you need to know about the project and how everything is working. And yeah, it's also good to know, understand the tokenomics behind it all. So I could give a tip. You should read that, and I will read it as well to understand it fully. And do you have any roof on the NFTs, like how many you can buy from a certain? Yeah, you understand what I mean. How many we can
Yeah. No,
mint?
no limitations.
No.
Mm-mm.
So
No.
you can so you can buy like 6 for you own like Omegas now, and then maybe in the future you can lease maybe 6 out if you don't
Yeah.
yeah, put them to work by your family members or whatever. But you can use the marketplace if you want to invest extra cash.
Yeah. And another thing that we do different too than most of your projects, we have a merge feature. So, I don't like to, I'm not bad talking about step in, but I'm going to use them as an example. You can take 2 of the sneakers and you can breed a third. So you're always increasing the supply. Eventually you're going to run out of feet for those sneakers. And so we don't do that. With our evolution process, it takes 12 primaries. You upgrade those to ultra. Those 12 primaries are removed. Once you've upgraded those 12 ultras, now you upgrade to the 12 alphas. Those 12 ultras are removed. You merge 12 alphas to get 6 omegas. So by the time 6 omegas are in circulation, you've removed 36 low-powered miners from circulation. So we're always decreasing supply constantly. So make sure that demand is there so that when the users do lease them out, the demand is there for those miners. We're not sitting here with, an overabundance of miners that are not going to be used. And so that is keeping that, you have to have that supply and demand ratio. But when you have this breeding feature, you can't create that. And so that's a big misstep with a lot of these projects. You don't want to create more. You want to decrease the supply so that you are raising the demand on those miners, and that brings more value to the people who are using them in the project. So that's an important feature too that people might not pick up on yet.
Will it always be how many Gfam is created every day from this pie? It is 267
Every day, 100 million per year are distributed. So there's 3 billion tokens, okay, for GFAM. 2.5
Always
billion will be
3
locked,
billion.
always, ever, only. And 2.5 billion will be locked in a time machine on May 4th. So what will happen is each year on August 18th, that time machine will release 100 million into the airdrop, and it's distributed 274,000 a day. However, in our system, as long as our vault is holding 100 million GFAM, the time machine will not release that 100 million. So with everybody using the project, every time somebody mints, there is 65% that pays out in commission. If you're a builder, who's building the network, the community. The other 35%, it's distributed. 20% goes back into the vault. It can be as low as 10% depending on how much supply there is, but 10 to 20% goes back into that vault because every year, as long as we can have 100 million in that vault, nothing will ever be taken from that 2.5 billion. So a burn feature in projects is not always a good idea because all it's doing is inflating the value of the token if the liquidity can't stabilize it. You really shouldn't do a burn until you've got a liquidity pool that is equal. If everybody went to the exchange and they sold today, they'd all get the same market value. Then a burn would be, a normal thing that should happen. However, if you're not at that point, you don't want to keep putting in more tokens from your token balance, right? That's used by the community. So what we do is we keep replenishing that vault. So right now that vault is actually holding 100 million for next year. So the time machine won't have to release any from that 2.5 billion. Plus it's still got 60 million after that. So we only need 40 million more and we'll have the second year covered. So as long as we can keep replenishing that vault, the time machine won't release from that 2.5 billion. That will drive the market value up, but at a normal rate, not inflating it without the liquidity matching it, if that makes sense. So as long as the project, as these tokens are being used for the various utility that they have, keeps going back into that vault. For example, when we bring in the seventh slot, people have to use Gfam. 100% of that Gfam goes back to the vault. So let's say we accumulate 200 million Gfam from opening dock slot 7. We're good for 2 years now. That time machine doesn't have to release any of that 2.5 billion tokens. So that's another thing that is, built into this project. You never want to dilute the market with tokens if the demand isn't there for them.
I think people and also me need time to digest everything that you said, but I will listen to this at least 3 or 4 times, and I like to go deep down to really understand. But for people who are listening, don't feel like I don't understand. It's okay. It's okay, and it will take time. But for me, I like to first make the jump and then understand fully, because sometimes you need just take action. You can't wait for stuff, and if you wait 1 month or 2 months and then suddenly the price is on $5,000, or then GFAM is maybe on 10 cents or 5 cents or whatever, and then you will regret. So I think you should trust yourself sometimes and just jump and then learn on the way. That's my tip
And
people.
that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring Bob in. Bob the miner. I know it's kind of funny, but we wanted to use that kind of to lighten because a lot of people get overwhelmed with Getfit trying to understand it. Where, even if you're on the fence or you're one of these people that just can't jump in and do it, get started with Bob, and mine at 20%. You have no risk. You know what I mean? He's free to use. So that's our biggest thing is we don't want that barrier to entry. We want everybody to be able to experience a project that was built properly and will survive, even through volatile markets, because we don't inflate prices. We don't, we're not asking the community to provide that liquidity. So we don't have to worry about the community pulling that liquidity. I mean, what happens if somebody has a family emergency? Today they're doing great. They provided 100,000 in liquidity. Tomorrow a family emergency comes up and that 100,000 in liquidity is gone. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. People always pull their liquidity. They don't put that liquidity in there to stay there. You might as well know that right out of the gate. You know what I mean? You're asking a community of people to provide liquidity and it's not going to stay there. Nobody is going to leave their money there forever. They're never going to do that. But when the project is creating that liquidity through their ecosystem, I mean, the community is already spending that money. Why ask them to spend more? They're already spending it in the project, using the project, the ecosystem that is there for them to use. That's the liquidity. So you don't have to worry about it being pulled. If it's there today, it's there tomorrow, and it's there in 5 years, it's there in 20 years. It belongs to the project. It belongs to the community. And when I say it belongs to the project, that's what I mean by that. It belongs to the community. Once we're done with this, we'll renounce the contracts and it's there. I mean, the ones that we can't renounce because of updates and things like that where, code is required, but you don't even need our application and the website to manage this. The app went down. If the website went down, you go to the contracts and you can submit and you can claim. Everything can take place right on the blockchain. We host nothing in our servers. Even if we got hacked, they can't do nothing to us. We are solid. We are 100% on the blockchain.
Bulletproof. So what's going to happen now?
To take us down, you'd have to take down the blockchain. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, you will always use the Binance Smart Chain. Always.
We're EVM compatible, so we can be up on almost any blockchain in 20 to 48 hours. We're already on 2. We plan to be on 6 by the end of the year. That means your same activity is mining on 6 different chains.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What's happening now, 4th of May?
4th of May is when we're going to kind of go into our pre-launch. We'll have hopefully hit at least 10,000 new users that are using the application. And then June 9th, our goal is to be at 25,000.
So on 4th of May, the staking will go live, or the
Yes.
second week maybe?
Staking will go live on, staking will go live on May 4th. And the challenges are also scheduled to go live on May 4th. And then, through all the promotional sales that we're doing right now, that's also liquidity. So that will be injected on May 4th as well. And then June 9th, hopefully the leasing will be ready. And then the injection, that second injection of liquidity, and then the evolution will take place, and then it's all automated from there.
And then do you have I saw some small note on traveling in the future, or just
Our travel to earn app. Yep, that'd be more like your DoorDash, your Uber, Lyft, people that travel a lot, over the road truckers. They'll be able to mine while traveling.
That's also interesting. So you have many different steps along the way you will release during the year.
Yep.
Do you have anything else to add to the listeners? It's good to know about the project.
I think we pretty much covered everything. It's been a long road, and the reason we didn't, have a lot of people in here in the beginning is because we knew the bumps, the bruises were going to be there. When you've got something that's been built from scratch, from the ground up, we have no third-party systems in our application at all, zero. Everybody knows bad news travels fast, good news travels slow. And so, the beta, why we didn't open it, to the public on a large level, is because we really had to test everything. So we're just really excited that everything we put together, it works. It's awesome. It's wonderful. It is a true form of mining. It's proof of physical activity. It generates hashes. It's all recorded to the blockchain. It's pretty awesome, actually. We're very excited about the future of Getfit Mining. Yep.
So listeners, go and follow Getfit Mining on YouTube. I think it's Getfit Mining, right?
Yep.
And then you have the website as well, getfitmining.com.
Yes. And we will be adding all the videos that are on YouTube also to getfitmining.com. And then they can download the app at the Google Play Store. And right now, test flight for iOS. But hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll end the beta stage with iOS. And you'll just be able to go right to, the App Store and download.
Yeah, that's good also, because I have some Apple users, so I don't find an App Store, but I say you need to use Test Flight, but yeah, that's good. It's coming to the normal App Store. I would like to thank you.
We'll also make the APK files available too for people who don't have the iOS or the Android operating system, and the ad hoc as well. So yeah, I'll share that with you later when I get a little more info from my dev team on it. But
perfect. I would like to say a big thank you for your time, and
yeah, thank you too.
Hopefully we keep in touch, and I'm very excited for this project personally, and you always get a gut feeling about something, and I have a good feeling about this, and I'm very picky about project I'm willing to put my name on. So, and that's why I want to talk to the people behind it before I talk too much about it. And I hope to sit here in 2 years and 5 years and still talk about Getfit Mining, and that's how I want to build my reputation about consistency. That's what I'm all about.
Right.
So
I agree.
Yeah. So thank you again, and we looking forward to the launch, and this summer for the bull market, and also of course about Getfit Mining. Thank you for 100%. All the listeners. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.